First, go to the first link in the description, which should take you to this website, which automatically downloads unityhub. Then once you install unityhub, you should see something like this. Now, what you want to do is go to licenses and add license, get a free personal license, agree and get personal edition license. I already have one, so I'm not going to get another one. And then go to installs, then install editor, then get Unity 6.5 or whatever the latest one is, whatever says recommended. In this tutorial, I'm going to be using Unity 6.5.2, which I will also leave a download for link in the description in case anyone wants to use, like, my specific Unity version. I understand that. Alright, after you've installed Unity 6, you want to go to Projects, New Project, and make sure editor version is at Unity 6.5. Then go to Universal 3D. I know there's a VR template, but that's a template. If you want to make one from scratch, go to Universal 3D. And for project name, you can put it in Unity Cloud if you want, but because this is just a tutorial, I'm not going to. But like, if that's a long-term game, you should definitely put it in. I'm actually gonna upgrade the template. And then I'm just gonna name this tutorial game. You can name it whatever you want. You can use the AI assistant, but I wouldn't recommend using it in the long run. I would only recommend using it for learning. For source control provider, I would highly recommend GitHub. And then you need to get a personal access token. I'm not gonna give you one since token. And then repository name, and then you can choose all of this. I would recommend enabling Git large file system, except I don't have it installed on this map. But because this is just a tutorial game, I'm not gonna do anything. Alright, then click create project. When you open, you should see something like this. Now, if you've never used Unity before, this is the scene, and if you go to game, this is what you see when you enter the game. This is the hierarchy, which is basically where all your objects are. This is where all your assets are. And this is also where all your assets are. And this is the inspector. Literally anything you select on will change the inspector in some way. In this case, I'm selecting the README, and select the README and remove README assets, then proceed. Good. And then it's gonna do all this random crap. You wanna go to scenes and change sample scene to something like main. I don't like when it's called sample scene. Just change it to main. I crash out whenever I see sample scene. Make sure you have some sort of input system actions. Then go to window, then package management, then package manager. You want to go to Unity registry, then scroll down until you see XR plugin management. You will want to install this. Then after you've installed XR plugin management, go to XR interaction toolkit and install that. Now what you want to do is you can close this, then go to edit, project settings, then scroll down to XR plugin management. On PC tab, go Open XR. Perfect. Once you have Open XR checked, go to Android/MetaQuest and also do Open XR. It should take much less time since you already have Open XR installed. And don't do Oculus. Oculus is considered legacy, even according to Oculus itself. Then what you want to do is go to Project Validation and then Fix All. And then you want to do that on the PC tab as well. If anything is going on in the background, it will say here. Alright, so then on this one, at least one interaction profile must be added. If you don't know what an interaction profile is, basically the controllers. It always knows where they are, but every type of controller has a slightly different interaction profile. You'll need to edit this. What the? Well, apparently the UI is broken. So if the UI is broken, you'll want to go to the other link in the description. The other link in the description will take you to this. Alright, so once you're here, go to Packages, then Meta XR Core SDK, and if you see Open in Unity, click Open in Unity. If you see Add to My Assets, press Add to My Assets. If you don't see Add to My Assets there, click Add to My Assets here. Don't click Open in Unity here. Click Open in Unity here, and then when you get this pop-up, press yes, then close out of this, go to Edit and Project Settings, then Meta XR, and for some reason PC is called Standalone, don't ask me why, and then fix the outstanding issue. That outstanding issue fixes what you needed to do in OpenXR, and then fix all the recommended stuff too. And then if you're using anything like in-app purchases, achievements, or literally anything to do with Meta's API, click How to Set Up, and also also click how to set up here, and it should be pretty self-explanatory from there. But if you're not doing any of that, click mark as fixed on both of these. And then, just because PC is ready doesn't mean MetaQuest is. So fix this stuff, and then again, if you use the API, how to set up. If you don't, mark as fixed. And it should automatically select Android manifest.xml. Now, if you don't know already, MetaQuest is actually based from Android. You could literally call Meta Horizon OS an Android OS, because it is. It is an Android OS. Now let's get to the actual game. What you want to do is Window, Package Management, Package Manager, then you want to go to Unity Registry, XR Interaction Toolkit, Samples, Starter Assets Import. And then it'll select here, Starter Assets. Oh yeah, fix this stuff again. You also need to fix the stuff in XR Plugin Management Project Validation. TextMesh Pro TMP Essentials. Click on Edit, and then click Import TMP Essentials. TMP is TextMesh Pro, and it is basically what manages good-looking text in the game. Emphasis on good-looking, because you can still import bad-looking text normally. Now, if you've never used this and you want to learn more about it, you can import the examples and extras, but I already know about it, so I'm not gonna do that. And then, about the API version stuff, just ignore it. And then if you go to console, you can see that all of this stuff, like TextMesh Pro Essential resources are missing, clear. That's fixed. Also, if you want to import an exact package version, go to Window, Package Manager, plus install package by technical name. Then I'll put the com.unity.whatever. Then I would put in the version, so 3.5.1. Since I already have that installed, I'm not gonna do it. Also, if you're on a Mac and you want to test in the editor, you don't have a VR, scroll down even more, go to XR Interaction Simulator and import that. And then go to XR Interaction Simulator, and then drag this prefab into the scene. Now, do not export while this is in the scene. If you do, it's gonna open in VR, but also activate the interaction simulator. So only use this for testing. If you want to keep it here, but you also want to export for VR, turn it off. Just disable it. And also press Command S to save on macOS and Control S to save on Windows. Go back to Starter Assets. Oh yeah, you didn't actually need to go here. You just needed to import it. I'm stupid. Now, the reason you need to import Starter Assets if you're not going to it is because that's what you need. So right click, XR Origin VR. This is the VR player, so you can rename it to player if you want. And if you have gizmos turned on, you can tell by if this is blue, then you can actually see which direction it's facing and everything. Also, disable the main camera here. Disable or delete the main camera here. That's not VR. I mean, I would disable it if you plan to port to screen mode eventually, but still. Also, if you want the head to always be at this exact spot, no matter where the floor is, put this to device. If you want it to handle where the floor is, change this to floor. And then you can right click, 3D object, plane, and then it'll put a plane there. No, I would right click and reset just so that it goes on the floor. Like, for reference, this is how tall the player is compared to the ground, except it will change. Like, this is the ground, and this is the camera. The height of it will change depending on your real life height. You might notice that it has no controllers. Well, here's how to fix that. Create empty, and then name it like right controller or something, and then right click create empty and name it like left controller or something. You can name it whatever you want, just make sure you remember which one is which. Select one, shift the other one, or control the other one, command the other one on macOS. Then you want to add components, and you want to search up tracked pose driver input systems, and then on these three dots, do use reference and use reference and use reference. Now select just the right controller, and on this one, search XRI right position. On this one, do XRI right rotation. Then on XRI right tracking state. You now have the right controller set up. Now for the left controller, XRI left position, XRI right position, and then XRI left tracking state. Now that you have both controllers set up, if you go in the game, you should be able to like move your head and it would actually respond, but you can't actually see the controllers. Why is that? Because you didn't put a model on it. If you do have a controller model, I'm just gonna use this cube, then just drag and drop it under right controller, and then right click and reset. and make sure to set the scale to something low so that it's not huge, and also disable the collider if there is one. Command C on macOS or Control C on Windows. Right click, paste special, keep local transform. The cube should align with the position and the rotation of the controllers. Now on this one, and then hold Command or Control on Windows and select the other one, and then right click prefab, unpack completely. Perfect, you now have a working XR setup. Now just to test, I'm going to enable the XR interaction simulator and press play. And if I rotate my head, I can rotate my head. So yeah, it works. Now how do you actually build the game? Well, I'm glad you asked. Go to edit, project settings, and before you export, go to player settings and make sure that all of this is how you want it to be. Go to default company and change it to whatever your name is or whatever your company's name is. Then you change the icon. Also, the icon must be inside of the assets folder. You can't just select it to whatever you want. It needs to be inside of the assets folder or a folder within the assets folder. To export it for PC, go to this timestamp. For meta, go to this timestamp. For meta, you want to scroll down and go to publishing settings. Then go to key store manager. Now you can use an existing one if you want to. For the tutorial, I'm going to teach you how to actually create one. So I'm going to create new anywhere and just save it as this. Then type in any password you want. Make sure that you'll remember the password. Don't worry, the password that you put here can be cracked. I've actually done it myself because I forgot the password, so I cracked it. Except not for the key value passwords. Key values, how do you pronounce that? For Elias, just put like literally anything you want. Just this is what you call your Unity project or whatever you want to call the key. So I'm just going to call it tutorial because that's what I want to call the tutorial's key. You can use a key from another project, by the way. And then you could put a different password, except this one can't be cracked. So you have to remember this one, which is actually why I would recommend using the same password that you did before. And then validity years, I would just put it at 50. There's no way you're not gonna update it in 50 years unless you die. And if you don't, then the game probably doesn't deserve to exist anyways. First and last name, just put your first and last name. Organizational unit. The organizational unit is like whatever your role is in the organization. For example, I'm the founder of Otis Club. City or locality, put your city. State or provenance, put your state if you're in the US, or province if you're anywhere else. Country code, US or EU or whatever. Add key. Now you want to go to other settings. Turn off override default package name. Then file, build profiles. Then add build profile. Then meta quest. Then add build profile. Don't forget to check your meta XR stuff, like press fix all. Trust me, it will save you so much time if you just remember to fix all that. Now that you have MetaQuest, make sure that it doesn't have a custom player settings. If it does, then just remove it. Keep quality and graphics settings the same though, unless you plan to change these. If you change these, just change these in here, I guess, because like, obviously different. Oh my gosh, it's still doing stuff. How long is this going to take? Then click build, then just name it whatever you want. I'll just name it tutorial, then save. And then just wait for it to build. Also, you need both OpenJDK and Android SDK. So go to build profiles and then add a build profile, then Windows. Add build profile, then switch profile. Alright, once you switch platforms, it's gonna do some stuff. If you want to make it an ARM Windows, you can actually make it that on Unity 6. But I would do Intel 64-bit since it's the most compatible. And build and run on, I would do local machine, except if you're on a Mac, then this won't work. And since it's still doing stuff, how long is this going to take? What you yapping about? Oh shoot. Oh shoot. Oh shit. Alright, make sure that all checks pass because somehow they undid itself. And then build. Okay, then build the Windows build. Anyways, that is the end of today's video. I will make sure to do a MetaQuest upload tutorial, actual game tutorials. This is just a VR setup. And I'll also give you a tutorial on how to share on other stores such as SideQuest and itch.io.
And one last thing before you go, I'm the one who edited this video. I'm the editor. My name is Stungspore. If you want to check out what other content I make, you can check out my channel by looking at the collaborators on this video, or the link is in the description leading to my channel. Thank you for watching and make sure to subscribe.